Hello everyone and welcome to this little guitar hangout. I just wanted to make a quick YouTube lesson or YouTube video for you because I'm so inspired by a few people and a few ideas, and I thought I'd just have to share this stuff with you. So a lot of people ask me, where did you learn how to play guitar, or where did you go to school and so forth? And I was very lucky to, at a young age, get a few very good teachers. When I was 10 years old, I think maybe 11 years old, I got my guitar teacher from the small town where I grew up in Bengtsfors. His name is Stefan Halvordsson. He was actually the one who inspired me to practice and play. Without him, I wouldn't be playing guitar today, I think. He was a very, very inspiring teacher because he made me realize how fun it can be to practice, and I wanted to play guitar like he could play guitar. He showed me how he could play, and I wanted to play like that. So I went home and practiced. So he's probably my biggest inspiration when it comes to guitar teachers that I've had through my life. And also Ulf Kenfeldt, who is another great guitar player that I had growing up in the small place in Bengtsfors, the small place in Sweden where I grew up. And he was also very inspiring, and he was the reason. He was the guy that actually saw that what you're doing, I think there's a few teachers at this school that would really be able to help you with your fingerstyle guitar. And he suggested me to go to Hollywood in California to study at the Musicians Institute, which is a school right in the middle of the music and business and film industry, right on Hollywood Boulevard. And I, of course, came from a small place in Sweden. Basically, from the forest, basically, because I lived, a few miles outside of this little town in Sweden. So from the forest, basically, in Sweden to Hollywood Boulevard, it was a big step for me to, be able to do that. And I was lucky that I could do that. And my family helped me, of course, with everything when it comes to finding a place to stay and everything like that. So I was very young when I went to MI. At the Musicians Institute, I met more inspiring people that helped me with what I was doing and what I wanted to play. And the players, the teachers, and the students at the school, they were, of course, very, very different in style. But I could always pick up things from everyone. I could, even if I couldn't play like I was, sitting in an open counseling room with Allen Hinds, one of the greatest, jazz rock players in the LA area, I could, of course, never, improvise like him or play like him. But there was a lot of stuff that I could learn from him anyways that I could use in my playing. I learned a lot from Allen Hinds. I learned a lot from Jamie Findlay, a fingerstyle jazz player that is one of the greatest when it comes to chords and arranging, and I still learn from Jamie. He's an amazing player as well. Jamie Findlay, check him out too. Carl Verheyen, I learned so many things from Carl Verheyen, a virtuoso player, plays everything. And I learned so much from Grasamke. He was a teacher at MI who could play Cherakin's stuff, Jerry Reed. He could play anything on his nylon string. He loved the Beatles too, and I learned a lot from him. I picked up a lot from Chaz, and there's so many. David Oakes, when it came to music notation and also playing, a great player. He could play classical and fingerpicking and jazz, and I picked up a lot of him when it came to arranging and stuff and writing notation and learning how to read and stuff like that. I also had a private teacher at MI. His name is Barrett Tagliarino. And of course, I follow all these great guitar players today as well, even though it's many years ago I went to MI. But I still follow their channels and their playing, of course. And I still learn from them all the time. And I still learn from, of course, other players as well. But there's something special about going back, maybe open a book from that time to study, because it kind of takes you back and you realize, okay, I was thinking about this thing back then, and then I could keep working on that now. And then I see a video of them playing something, and I'm just so inspired. So I did that today. I just 5 minutes ago, I saw a video of my private instructor, Barrett Tagliarino. I had him for private lessons for a while at MI. And he's a great player, rock player. He plays jazz and everything. And he decided to play some Christmas songs on Facebook. And I just learned, I listened to that stuff, and I just realized that, I have a lot of Christmas arrangements, and I have a lot of ideas for my arrangement and reharmonizations, but you can always pick up new stuff. And I just watched Barrett play the song White Christmas that you probably know, and I just picked up a few things that I wanted to share, and I hope he's okay with this. I'm going to send this to him first, so he will. I hope he's okay with me sharing a few of his great ideas. So the melody, so the chords here are just C major 7, and I usually go D minor, C, C diminished to C, and then D minor. Here you can go either E flat diminished to C major with first inversion, but Barrett, he played this, and he played this chord, which is basically a third inversion, a 13 chord, or actually it's a G13 with a flat 7th in the bass, and he plays it from a half step below, same as going like this. So G13, and I like that part. Now the next part is just F, so it's F, and then the simplest version to play it would be F to G, sorry about my singing, back to C, right? Now this melody, I could play a G chord for that whole bar, back to C, right? In my lesson about back cycling here on YouTube, on this guitar channel, I'm speaking about how to use the circle of fifths to add chords before you're going back home. So in this case, we know we're going to C major, so you could play just the G chord and play the melody. So I'm just playing G chords here, back to C, right? But that's a little bit boring. You could go to the 5 of 5. What's the 5 of 5? Well, the 5 chord is G. The 5 of 5 would be D. You could use D minor or D dominant 7. So if I added 2/5, that would be back to C. Then it would be 2 beats of D minor, 2 beats of G7 before I go to C. And of course that would sound something like, let's see, or something like that. So I'm playing D minor 2 beats, G7, and back to C. Okay? So, and that sounds that's okay, but it's not very interesting, I think. Let's try to use borrow chords from the minor key, the parallel minor, that is, from C minor. You could play a minor 2-5-1, which is D minor 7 flat 5, to G7 to C. That's a little bit more interesting. The sounds would be F, here's D minor 7 flat 5, to G7, and maybe D7 with the sharp 5, and then back to C. This is a C6-9. So that would be these sounds. So I'm playing D minor 7 flat 5 for two beats. This is just another inversion of that minor 7 flat 5 chord, D minor 7 flat 5, and then G7 and G7 sharp 5, back to C major. That's one way. You could also use this, keep going in the circle of fifths, and play one chord per beat. So instead of playing D minor for 2 beats and G7 for 2 beats, you could play E minor, A minor, D minor, G before going to. So that would be right? Bum, 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 bum. So I'm playing, basically just going back in the cycle of fifths to get those chords, and that is very common that you do that. So I'll demonstrate how that sounds. Here we go, E minor. You could go A minor, D minor 6, G7, sharp 5, and then back to C. So now before that I just played F to F, and then I played 6 intervals like. That sounds okay, but Barrett, he did a much better thing there. So he played he played the first part, and then he played, and then he did this. Isn't that beautiful? So instead of playing F and then just playing 6 intervals, that's a little bit boring. Listen to this. I think he actually used a regular G13 here. That sounds good as well, but I used a sharp 5. So you can see, you can hear that he's playing a chromatic descending bass line from F. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that idea. So I stole it, and I'm going to show you how to play it. It's instead of playing F and then 6 intervals, boring, we play, here we go, F major 9, E minor 7, and then E flat diminished, I would say. Just these 3 notes actually. And then D minor 7, and then A, here we could say E flat 13, D flat 13, and then G13 back to C. Or you could say A, this could be analyzed as an altered A chord, sharp 5, sharp 9. So to D9, D13, and then back. So listen to it. I love that. And Chet Atkins, for the turnaround, the next chords are usually, you know, that's like 1, 6, 2, 5. But Chet Atkins did this 1, 6, 2, 5. He actually used this. He used that in When You Wish Upon a Star. I love that arrangement. And so you could do that like a regular turnaround. Barrett, he stayed on C major, C6, 9, and then he, for the next melody, which goes, you know that part, he played, instead of playing, he stayed on the C, and then he went, isn't that beautiful? I love it. I was so inspired hearing it. So what he does is he plays a descending bass line from A down to G, and when you land on that G note, that's the C major chord. So he plays D dominant 7 with the A in the bass, then he plays a B flat dominant 7 with the flat 7 in the bass. So that would be almost like playing B flat back to C. So he plays, let's see. And that's just the C major chord with G in the bass. So he goes, and then he plays E major with the G sharp in the bass. Much better than what I did. I usually play C major 7 to C dominant 7 right away. That's boring. I don't know why I did that. This is much better. Here's C with G in the bass, E major with G sharp in the bass, and then G minor 6 melody to F major 7. He made a line here. You could do that from the major 7. And then he went to, let's see, he played C major 7 again. I would play maybe this chord here, because the next thing he does here is incredible, and I love it. And it's also the circle of fifths thing, but it's using the tritone substitution, which I've talked about the tritone substitution on this channel. If you just Google my name or ProGuitar and then a tritone substitution or flat 5 substitution, you will get a whole lesson on why this works. Instead of playing in the beginning, you remember we played, you could play tritone substitution on those chords. That's a little bit maybe more interesting sometimes if you want to play it like that. So anyway, so what Barrett did here was C major 7, and then he played this. That is so beautiful, I think. Let's take it from here. And then we go to this chord. F major 7. And back to C major. Here we go. So what he did, C11, B11, B flat 9, A minor 9, A flat dominant 7 with the sharp 11, to G11, and then G13 flat 9. Something like that. That was the... Sorry, got a tune. Okay, so... let's see. And why does that work? Well, the melody, you could play just bum and then A7, sorry, to D7 to G. But that's very boring. That's what I did when I played this song. But he played it like this. That voicing is beautiful. And then, so why does this work? Well, he aims for this chord. This is a substitution for D7. I went like A7 to D7. So when he lands on this chord, he knows he's going here. But the flat 5 substitution for D7, if you know that stuff, you know with the flat 5 substitution, is A flat dominant 7. So he aims for that chord and he wants a chromatic bass line. Right? And so he plays, he goes back in the circle of fifths. And you could use the C, instead of playing first C major 7, C major 9, and then he plays C11. It's just back in the cycle. You could go like that. But he's playing. So this is kind of a substitution. And then this is a substitution as well. I would say this is a substitution for E minor. And this is B flat 9. And then A minor 9. Stretch here. And then G flat, or sorry, A flat dominant 7 with the sharp 11. And that is a substitution for D7. And then it goes to the 5 chord. 11 and then flat 9. Or with the 13 on top, you could do that. And that's it. Beautiful. And then he's back. And sometimes I play some solo lines here as well. You could go like... So what that was is just... I'm dreaming of the same thing. And then D minor, just play a D minor line. To this diminished chord, which is E flat diminished or D sharp diminished, going to C with E in the bass. But Barrett didn't do that. He played this... and then he went, I like that actually better. It's nice with the solo lines, but I like this sound better. Instead of going to E, to this C chord. And then he went like this again. we did that before, right? So I'll do that slow. And the last part of the song, which goes, you know, something like that. That is just, he does a lot of different chords here, I think. I don't know if he did exactly this. Remember, I learned this, I just watched this a few minutes ago, so I don't know if I doing it right. But he goes G minor, like a 2-5-1 to the 4 chord. He goes up to F major 7, and instead of playing that F minor 6, which would be the obvious common one, he went much more beautiful, I think, which is F major 7 to A flat, dominant 7 with a flat 7 in the bass. And then he went, I think, E13, flat 13, A9, flat 9, D minor, A minor, A flat 9 to G dominant 7. And then you can go D flat major 9, F sharp or G flat major 7 sharp 11. Man, it's a lot of chords. And then back to C. So he went something like, here is, and then back, E13. That is a cool thing, by the way. You can play harmonics on the 12 frets. That's just a major 7 chord, but you can play this, which is a major 13 chord with the sharp 11. So you just play harmonics on the 7th fret. You get those beautiful sharp 11 sound. Anyway, isn't that beautiful how he used those substitutions to get those sounds? This is what inspires me, stuff like this. And so I walked you through this stuff fairly quickly now. But if you're interested in learning about arranging techniques like this, the flat 5 substitutions and everything, there's a few lessons here on the YouTube channel. But I have a big lesson called Arranging for Fingerstyle Guitar, where I teach all those techniques, where, you know, that I've picked up from learning from my, you know, favorite players, favorite teachers, the ones that I mentioned, and also my favorite inspirations when it comes to performers like Cherekins and you know, Tommy Manuel, all those great players, Ted Green, Joe Pass. I've picked up a lot of stuff from these players, and I share them in the lesson called Arranging for Fingerstyle Guitar, and I will make a link in the description of this video. So yeah, I'll just play a little bit through this song again, and I'm gonna make some mistakes, but that's okay, because I just learned this stuff. And maybe I'll add some stuff on my own as well. Let's see. That's Barrett, and then he went. can also go, instead of going to D flat here, you could go to A flat, and then D flat, and then you can go C major 7. That's a lick from Jimmy Wible. Another great teacher who taught at MI. You can also play it a little bit more simple, to A minor, D9, and then you can end it like this. I think I picked up that from Jamie Findlay, and what that is just C major 7 up here, and then you do this. That's like a C major 6-9, 6-9, C major 7, sharp 11, C6-9, and end it with a sharp 11. So that sounds like this. Something like that. But of course there's many endings that you can do. And but that's another lesson. Thank you so much for watching this little inspired, I guess, walkthrough of White Christmas. There's so many things you can do on that song and on the fun Christmas songs that I don't know what I'm saying. But I'll end this lesson right now. Thank you for watching. Remember, I'm Swedish. I'm not very good with the English language sometimes. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.